Perfect. Hey, what's up, Pralinor? No, it's not Neo today. Not today. Stranger of Paradise. Yeah, it's not Neo. Favorite flesh tuber? Cram? Come on. Alright, just as a heads up, for anyone who isn't aware, I did do a little tinkering of my gear off stream. A very simple thing. And what I did was I got rid of the 400% Ronin on my chest piece and I traded it for Void Knight. Reason being is this effect right here. Whenever my max MP is 400 or higher, I get auto haste. Which is so good for me. It's very nice. And then that does stack with Lunatic, so my overall DPS would just go sky high and the actions I can take will be ridiculous. It actually gets a little exhausting, but it's a significant difference. It's pretty fun. So that's the main thing that I did. And then, yeah, other than that, I think I'm ready for DLC 3. I forget, what does Divine Punishment give? Divine Punishment is... oh, I can increase the Lightbringer duration. But other than that, I haven't really tinkered with much. I was considering trying to tinker with my gloves a little bit on Dragoon, but I don't think it'll be that necessary. Most underrated Team Ninja game? Yeah. There's a lot of good in this, but it is unfortunately overshadowed by some pretty big issues. So most of those have to do with performance, optimization, whatever you want to call it. But the game just doesn't run that well and doesn't look as good as I would expect. I think it is unfortunate that games like this, which have... hey Chris, it's going well. It's unfortunate... Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm about to do DLC 3. It is unfortunate that this game isn't as created as well as I believe it could have been. So for me, I've been a big fan of Final Fantasy series. I've been a big fan of Team Ninja games from Ninja Gaiden. And my hope was that this game would be a perfect amalgamation of both. For me, the only real strengths of this game boil down to... I mean, the biggest strength is just the combat system, which I have a lot of fun with. I think they did a fantastic job here. I think you've got Team Ninja's DNA over it, and it's fantastic. And so that gameplay experience is great. Now, where it's lacking is actually, ironically, a lot of the Final Fantasy things. So, as Pralinor is saying, it is less good looking than Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Rebirth. Those games look and run really good. They're that's the standard I'm thinking of, and I just wish that was for this game as well. Alright, if that was the case, oh, that would have been amazing. This game would have been like an absolute dream. But unfortunately, it not only doesn't run well on average, it doesn't look as good as it could. You haven't played any Final Fantasy games, so you don't see what Stranger of Paradise is lacking. So Final Fantasy traditionally has had your big overworld you can explore, you can go to different towns. So if it's very a lot of the standard RPG things you come to expect. So a lot of the slower paced things. Here, the highlight is pretty much just combat, which is, don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's missing a lot of the ingredients that are typical for Final Fantasy games, where you can engage in meaningful dialogue. If you just take a look at some gameplays where there's a bit more of a narrative focus, there's a town to explore, this is missing that. I'll put it this way, Neo 3's open field is more accurate of how things go for Final Fantasy games compared to this game, which is a Final Fantasy spin-off, which is really bizarre. Very bizarre. Yeah, there's no expansion on the city. The world map mission style can be a bit lazy, right? Instead of having an overworld, right? Stranger of Paradise feels like an arcade game and lacks the immersive elements. That's also a great way to put it. And that's, of course, well before... And those, to me, things are lacking. And, like, it just... like, that's kind of a problem. When I see Final Fantasy VII Remake, and when I play Rebirth, and when I see load times, like, snap fast, and it's overall, like, looks and runs really good. Like, I have no complaints about the game in the graphics department there. Like, not really. Not nearly as much as here. If someone were to say this game looks like a PS3 game, I would feel a little odd. It's hard for me to dispute that compared to someone saying that for like Neo 2 or Neo 3. I'd be like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I can more easily deny that claim. But this game, I'm like, it... no. So, I don't know what happened, why it happened, engine thing, whatever. That's not really my department to worry about. But it's like, bro, this game could have been so much better. In theory, this game is amazing. It could have been like a super contender. You have like a kick-ass Team Ninja mix with Final Fantasy mix RPG with like an immersive like overworld, like you can call it open world, whatever, open field, whatever you want to call it. It runs well, it looks good, there's compelling storytelling, meaningful characters. Like you have that really rich world building. So think about it. Like for all of us who are Neo fans, take one of Neo's biggest weaknesses, which isn't gameplay, and just like give it a really compelling story and a compelling world. Mix those together. That's what I thought this game would be, and it's fucking not. I don't think the game looks bad, but I guess by release date you expect better graphics. Yes, and compare it side by side. So here, Wizard, compare it to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Of course there's going to be differences with art direction and this and that and so on, right? Like there's a lot of those differences. But let me put it this, let me put it this way. This game, in terms of like optimization, is like, I think the joke was you need a PlayStation 7 to make it look like a PS4. You feel like they just agreed to a very low budget and that's what we got. It's not first collaboration between the two. You've seen it before. Oh, I don't have that experience. Well, if they're going to put low effort and low budget into this game, then guess what? That's what they're going to get in terms of me buying it. Which is why I say, hey, get this game when it's on sale. There's no urgency to buy it. Get it for like 20-30 bucks. It's a fun game. But, yeah. If you have a PS5 Pro, then it'll run, I think, mostly without a hitch. Base PS5 is alright. But yeah, it's just missing a lot of things, unfortunately. It's like I remember when it first came out, it's like, oh, like, just to give you an idea of just how poorly optimized it was. There was, I remember one of the intro cutscenes, one of the earlier cutscenes, it was like the minister to the king or whatever. And he has like this fur coat, and then if you get rid of the fur coat, the FPS goes up by 10. I'm like, wait, what? This is so bad. It was such a pain to play it on PC. I'm playing this on PS5, as per the title, Blue Dynamite. You know where it says? In the title of my stream, PS5 Chaos DLC time. It's right there. But yeah, so for me, the graphics, the lack of Final Fantasy elements, the polish, the graphics, the optimization, the performance and all that is like, it was so disastrous compared to expectations that many people just naturally dropped it. Understandably so. Even I, to this day, have a problem with that. To be fair, you don't really have a gaming PC anymore? Well, yeah, I don't. But oh well. I'm playing it on the PS5. And it's overall okay. It's okay, Blue Dynamite. I'm teasing you. Right. So yeah, if you're gonna play this game, get it on sale. Now that's all before some of the more nuanced issues that they have when it comes to like just being overwhelmed with loot. You know, as on YouTube, Gilga is talking about. There are some of those like Team Ninja frustration type things where it's just like a bajillion loots is like a crazy amount of grind. Those things do exist, and so fortunately I'm kind of used to that. I mean, they do have their loot filters. It's not ideal, but it's definitely a thing. But you put it's like missing so many important elements of Final Fantasy games that makes them so novel and so special to many people. And then what are they going to focus on when then that's problematic? It's like, okay, maybe is the gameplay good? Oh my gosh, I have so much loot. And then insert all the complaints that people have with games like Neo. Anyway, it's time for me to do DLC 3. So those are some really big downsides in my opinion, but naturally I'm playing it because there's a lot of things I do like, and the gameplay loop is so fun. Oh man, it's addictive, and like the potential for it to have been amazing with like co-op partners is just off the charts. And I do hope that do the DLCs have a story? I guess you'll find out. But answer, yes, they do have a story.
These should be enough to fix what's been broken.
Oh no, that's not good. Kupo?
This one. I probably prefer DLC 3 over in terms of story.
It's been too long, Bahamut.
What the heck is this thing?
I'm a Moogle, Kupo. You can think of me as a guiding spirit. I helped Bahamut get here. I have something to ask of you, Kupo. I need Chaos's help. Someone's attempting to meddle with this dimension. And not just meddle. They want to erase it for good, Kupo.
Let me guess. Lufenian.
Yes. And if this place disappears, I'm afraid you'll go along with it, Kupo. Chaos is the only one who can keep that from happening. Kupo!
Wow, I completed the first mission, so difficult. No damage. Alright, Lufenia difficulty, here we go. Alright. On all missions in Lufenia difficulty, there are no adjustments made for differences between mission and equipment level. So using the smithy to enhance your equipment is essential for survival. Missions have been balanced around floor 30 of the Rift Labyrinth. If you desire an even greater challenge, try using the Dragon King Trial Mission Plus. You can now find mannequin materials on Lufenia difficulty, and while climbing the Rift Labyrinth by completing missions and defeating enemies, Mannequin materials can be used in the place of others. Yeah. So basically, like, this helps with the crafting a lot. Naturally, a lot of people would have preferred this from the get-go, but it's very handy. You just get one currency that substitutes effectively all others. And then in DLC 2, the floors go up to 100 and then it's capped. Now it goes to 100,000. But the real impactful changes start at floor 100. As it says here, enemy patterns will go to the Lufenia difficulty, and then they enhance the rift even further. So it gets pretty crazy. It is effectively infinite content. So if I select mission level, it's just fixed at the mission level. If I want to put Dragon Trials on, I suppose I could. But you can see mission level plus, floor 40, 60, 90, 130, 180. It gets pretty wild. And then it just dramatically increases your rate, but as you could probably suspect, this can be a little crazy. I am just sticking to base. I'm not going to put any Dragon Trials on because DLC 3, just as it is a big difference in difficulty. It's a significant challenge upgrade. So I guess let's just go. Yeah, it's chaos time.
The Lufenians call this place Central, and the mastermind of this plot should be somewhere deeper inside. Now let's get to it, Kupo. Your world is at stake.
This is the one. All right. Time for a change. All right. Time for a change.
Alright, I don't want to deal with my party members, so I'm going to remove them in this because they won't play a significant impact. It's just Jack. Alright, so again, just as a reference, I did tinker with my gear just slightly. So I no longer have 400% Ronin, but I do now have 600% Void Knight. And Void Knight is normally just like a caster type job, you know, mage and shit. Like, I don't use the intellect stats. But what is nice is that I can reduce the cost of my buffs basically. But the biggest reason is I get auto haste. That's legit why. I got auto haste. For me, the party members don't really add anything significantly of value. And plus, I just want to play as Jack. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, shortcut.
This is the one.
Although the beasts you see here might look familiar, I can sense that they are far from home. Be careful, Kupo.
Interesting. Does that mean there's something on the side of the
This looks good.
You see how fast I'm already going? Ready? The speed.
That was quick. All right.
Oh no. Come on, I want to parry you. Really? What's this? Monster bells? Nice. Oh, that'll be fun. Yes, yes, I know. You got the spirit missives and all that fun shit.
Time for a change. All right.
Oh god, I don't have... What are the plans? DLC 3 and then Neo 3 again? Yeah, most likely. Oh, very nice. Pretty fast. Okay, sweet.
A terrible future, but I'm here to set it back on course to the tomorrow it deserves. The tomorrow where I came from, Kupo.
Like I care.
Jack. He's like, yeah, like I care. Jack does not. He's like, oh, you have a future? That's cool. I don't give a fuck.
Facility, right? What happened here?
Originally, Lufenia had forbidden central.
Oh, Jack.
Until you came and changed everything.
Yeah, Jack don't give no fucks.
Our target? Set these monsters loose as their first step towards gaining control of this place, Kupo.
So much of a fight.
I know, absolute Giga Chad. He's like, oh, cool. Okay, I guess. Right, open the door. Seriously? Whew.
Let's see what's inside. Were those
We're
cubes?
getting close to Emperor. Yeah, I am. I think there's a little bit I didn't explore. Okay. What kind of universe do you prefer between Final Fantasy and Neo? To me, that's kind of an apples and oranges sort of discussion because they each have their strengths. I'm very comfortable with a lot of things from Final Fantasy, so naturally I might want to say something from that. It's usually the lore is self-contained, whereas with Neo, I feel like I need a lot more knowledge, historically speaking. And so that can be a little alienating at times. First time trying Switch Grave in Neo 3. Not as self-contained anymore now this game exists. Yeah, true. Oh, you thought it was more of an anti-yokai weapon? I don't know, based on how they talk about it, right? Lufenia's out here making their own Dissidia. Yeah, the spin-offs generally aren't as self-contained as... Like, this one makes references to Dissidia and things like that. But overall, the story is pretty localized. So it's just, you play this game, you mostly understand like 99+% of things. Whereas with Neo, it's like, well, good luck trying to figure all this historical relevance out. Yeah, Switchwave is interesting. When it's introduced, I thought it would be more like a anti-yokai weapon because Mumio was using it in Neo 2. But it is very good against humans, even when they block, with stuff like empty retribution, for example.
Sense powerful magic. One that does not hail from this dimension, Kupo. Tread carefully.
Okay, wait, hold up. Hold up. I want to change my aesthetic just slightly. Okay, because as much as I like how this looks, I want it to look like something else. Yes, you can change how other characters look too. Cool. Question is, do I want a different look for the sword? This is where I wish I had Jack's sword. Abyss armor with Ragnarok is peak, yeah. Alright, I'll keep this. Okay, anyway. Yeah, you can do some visual customization. It's pretty neat.
Time for a change. All right. This is the one. Time for a change.
I legit just changed my customization for the upcoming cutscene. That's it.
All right.
You like this spam? Okay, here we go.
Are you the one who will be Garland?
The Emperor! I had feared it might be him. Why are you here?
I saw a little white rodent scurry off into the shadows and followed along to squash it. Huh. To think that it would guide me here, where the powers of the crystal mingle with the chaos of discord. It truly is a moving sight. This place is now under my dominion. Rejoice to kneel before me.
I knew you'd start spouting bullshit the second I saw you. You've got the look.
Jack with his one-liners. Oh yeah, it's so original FF, yeah.
May misery haunt you. On your knees. Abase them. Disappear. Mindless brute who knows nothing but that until the last hour gives up. I
Violence is all I know.
Jeez.
rise before you kneel. I die. What vile creature.
Jeez, that eats so much.
Abase them. Meet your fate. It's useless. Power in feet. Eyes down. On your knees. tremble in fright. Lie down. Welcome to your cell. Beg and I may be moved. Never awaken. Teach your fate. Refuse it. Repent for your sin. Escape. Stand in
Whew.
Very good. This world has power worthy indeed. Power worthy of my command.
Get back here!
Hey, Soulpool. What, you don't have a monologuing uniform? Oh, yeah, I think Jack's voice actor is I think the English voice acting in this game is great.
That was quick.
The Emperor's presence is troubling. But we should focus on stopping the Lufenian first, Kupo.
That guy seemed pretty full of himself. Just who is he?
A man who thinks only of conquering others with monsters and magic. Now it seems I've brought his ambition to this world, Kupo.
Let's see what's inside.
Then I know Jack's voice actor makes it a lot more manageable. What does Kupo mean? I think it's just an expression that Mughals say.
Are those cubes?
Alright, we got the music. Got 83 rat tails? Holy shit. Woo! Think of it like British people using in. Okay. Nice. Sure, I'll get some affinity, why not? Guess I'll get more strength. Yeah, or the Canadians, yeah, pretty much. Let me save it here. Jackpot, because you know he's Jack. Ooh. Alright, hold on. I want to switch out Hosha. What do I want? Try Shosen. Go fast.
Seems the Emperor has designs on the crystal and the power of chaos. Don't stop until he has his desires fulfilled.
I'll deal with this. Let's go.
Now then.
There you
Spam all the things.
better try something different.
God dang it. I have too much inventory.
Let's go. This is this one's got some teeth.
Okay.
That's all of that.
Okay, I got the key to myth.
Time for a change.
Seriously?
This is the time for a change. This is the one.
Wait, I came from here. Oh, let's probably go the other way type thing.
The Emperor knew the name Garland just as Gilgamesh did. A memory from a different time, perhaps?
Just might be right.
Why would anyone hey. Ninu, that's not my name, come on. Heard that Kazan game is pretty good? Interesting. Maybe I'll consider it. Maybe. Maybe.
Let's see what's inside. Time for a change.
You bothered me so much I might consider it. I also might reject it too. Son bitch. You'll find a way to make me play it? Oh god. Ah!
This looks good.
Goodbye. Okay, I got the key. Goodbye, loot. From what I've seen of Kazan, to be fair, which is similar to Neo, is that it also has the Neo 1 problem where the game takes a while to be cool. Oh. That wind combo was neat. Bro, I'm just getting started. I want my shortcut. I like my shortcut. Finally a challenge! Yeah, such a big challenge. What is it? Shield. Like how you know in Neo 1 you have nothing to do for a while, but in Neo 2 the game opens up pretty quickly mechanically, yeah. That's what I figured you were referencing as well. Oh, Garland, first boss of Final Fantasy before the game starts? Yeah, pretty much. This whole game is about Garland, you know that, right? My character is Jack Garland. How dare you slander the goated guitar? He's dead. Sucks to be him, I guess. The way they did Tonberries in this game is like low-key terrifying. No, you don't.
Where warriors of myriad dimensions were locked in an endless battle, Kupo, together with the help of 2 gods. They rooted out the beasts responsible for their cruel fate, bringing peace at last. On that day, they shattered the chains of conflict that bound the world, Kupo. Among those warriors was indeed a man named Garland. But I know for a fact that he wasn't you.
That's just Ever Crisis. Oh, please no Sephiroth.
I can't help but think of him when I see you fight.
So, let me just put it this way. Take the concept of Tonberries from Final Fantasy and put it in the hands of Team Ninja. They did a fantastic job. Yeah, quite literally, like Destroyer of World type shit. They have an attack called Knife, which, you know, does an absolute truckload of damage, as you would expect. And they can teleport, and they can silence you, and they can slow you, and they can paralyze you, and then what, of course, and then they have Everybody's Grudge, which is just like a barrage of spam towards you, and it can just wipe you out like instantly. And they're tanky, and they have this ring, I forget what it's called, but they have this ring which slowly shrinks around you, and them too. And if you cross the ring, then it breaks your gauge, which means you lose all buffs. Think of it like being winded in Neo. Imagine like you cross an area and you're instantly winded, but you lose all your buffs at the same time. I'd say the worst is goblins with dragon trials on. Oh my gosh. Just the regular goblins too, not even the crazy ones. Okay, I need to like dispose of shit in my inventory if I can. Ah shit, I have to do that elsewhere. Yeah, let's go boss time.
I'm impressed you've made it this far. Jack Garland. I see you've brought friends this time.
You.
Jack, you cannot fathom the setbacks we've suffered. Thanks to your recklessness, your thirst for chaos. Our plans to make this world worth something lie in ruins. However, I am not one to lose heart so easily. I will expel the wicked powers you love so well. The darkness, the chaos, the mystical, and guide this lost star toward the glory Lufenia envisioned. After all, darkness exists only to be banished by the light. Wouldn't you agree?
And you think you're the light? Get your head out of your ass.
If you disagree, then perhaps this will convince you, Jack.
A dimensional matrix.
You remember? Then you also know that this crystal functions differently than yours. It can bind space, time, and matter. Through dimensional rifts, we can call forth phenomena from countless worlds, or erase them from existence. A demonstration.
Yeah, Nil is a bit psychotic.
A walking weapon whose purpose was to slay the gods, Kupo.
Beings arrogant enough to call themselves gods, in any case. I despise the term either way. So, Jack Garland, here's what happens next. Omega will crush you, and wipe all trace of chaos from this world.
The DLC 3 bosses are no joke. I might make them look kind of like on the easier side. They are very stressful. I have to pay attention. Shit. This is Omega Weapon. Do not fuck around with Omega Weapon. And remember, no Dragon Trials, by the way. I'm not using them at all.
Your reputation is well deserved, Jack. However, I can always make more.
I knew it! The crystal is summoning those mannequins, Kupo. They'll destroy everything if we don't stop it.
I'll gladly spawn an army of these monstrosities to stamp out chaos. With this crystal and the dimensional matrix at my disposal, I can create life or take it away at will. I shall return the world to nothingness, so it may be made anew, into a glorious utopia free of uncontrollable elements.
Remember, that was phase 1. Remember, that was phase 1 of the fight. Now we're dealing with phase 2. Not to be underestimated.
But first, I must tear the roots of corruption from its foundation.
Oh, fuck! Oh. Like I said, if I don't pay attention, I will get fucked. Yes, it's an original fight. That's a wipe. You see how fast that was. Bear in mind, I have invulnerability when I have Lightbringer. It doesn't matter. Destroyed. Right, it's a lot of fuck you die damage very quickly. Like, when she does that, like, light pillar thing that, like, crosses, it's like several hits at once that are all very, very devastating. DLC 3 bosses are very challenging. So yeah, Omega Phase 1, it's still tough, but it gets crazy with the Transcendent. Oh my god! Oh fuck! Rainbow Wind! Oh, and I think I got silenced.
Alright.
Instant wipe, bro. Remember, this is appropriate scaling Rift Labyrinth wise. Just to give it for reference. I'm not over leveled or anything. This is on level. So yes, I have to be very careful. Oh my god, you see that shit?
Here it comes. Can't be.
Ah! Oh my god! Absolutely zero fucks were given. Let me guess, Team Ninja game, yeah. Fair and balanced, exactly.
Time for a change.
Yeah, this is a Team Ninja game. Team Ninja's behind it. With Square Enix. Jeez, it hurts so much. Oh, thank God. GG. Alright, now for some ultimate dialogue.
The worlds are lost without Lufenia to guide them. I won't leave them in the hands of such primitive power.
Too bad. You'll be dead in a few seconds. At least we have you to thank for sending us down there in the first place. Good call on that one.
Just as you have endured within this dimension, so too my will shall remain. You will never be safe, so long as...
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, Jack, never change. Never
Are you
change.
just going to leave the crystal here?
We don't need Lufenian junk.
I see. Well, that's probably for the best, Kupo.
All right. We've got work to do. Bring us home.
Work to do? You mean wait for the Warriors of Light to kill you, Kupo?
We're putting the fate of the world back in the hands of the people. Doesn't matter the cost.
But what if that means that there's no place for you and your friends anymore, Kupo?
I don't care. Chaos and strangers were never supposed to be here to begin with. No one will miss us.
In a different future, a place governed by different rules, you will live on in legend. If you had chosen to become one with Lufenia's crystal, then you would have eventually reached that tomorrow, Kupo. But you turned your back on that path. And now, you head toward a future of your own making. A future in which you will exist only in the tales of fantasy people tell, Kupo. No one will recall the struggle you endured. That you gave yourself to the darkness so that the light could burn on.
Good.
Hey, what's up, badass Batman?
Only light can break the chains of time. And only light can illuminate the way to a brighter future. But not without darkness to guide it. So we have become the shadows in the night, where only the bravest may dare tread. Do you remember me? That's right. I am Garland! Bathe the world in your brilliance and cleanse the stain of despair from its surface. Until that happens, the cycle of chaos will repeat again and again. You will die here, and I will live forever!
His armor looks so badass, dude. I know, we'd miss Jack too. Yeah, Jack's like, shut the fuck up. It felt so good. Whoa, I got a lot. Okay. Now there's more. Cyclic equipment obtained for completing a hopeful future may also now be acquired via regular equipment drops. You have learned a small part of the art of replication through Nil. So yeah, we can replicate. Basically, you can clone your items, and which is very handy for the Rift. So yeah, there's some items, of course, you're like, oh man, I wish I could have an exact copy of this to have on my other job. Boom, done, replication. It is very expensive though. So now there are, that's not all of the main DLC things, by the way. There's still a little bit more. Okay. Smart of them to wait until the last DLC to give you that set because it's what something all people would use, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, oh wow, they gave me full cyclic? Holy shit. Wait, seriously? That's pretty good. Oh, the cyclic helm. DLC only ends when we get peak theme for open world. Correct. So Swirlpool, we're still going. I still got like 2 hours in me. There's still what? I have three bosses left. Let's see, will it be an upgrade? Holy shit, that is an upgrade if I saw one. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I think I'll use. Holy shit. Well, I already have Divine Punishment, but. Expensive until you farm characters for 5 minutes to get a billion materials. Yeah, I know. But it's also great for getting copies of high rank effects. Exactly right. Witty, you've got all the information as always. I do want my Void. Dude, the 190, that's top percent. That's really good. Oh, and it even has Carbuncle? Oh shit. I'll lose Void, so I'll hold on to that. Yeah, I don't really need to replicate. I'm good. Okay, let's just go. This is the story of a different future. So wait, what do we have? So now it's well, I guess let's just see. We have a rematch that's been we've waited for. Rematch time. So yeah, it gets pretty fun.
The worlds are lost without Lufenia to guide them. I won't leave them in the hands of such primitive power.
Too bad. You'll be dead in a few seconds. At least we have you to thank for sending us down there in the first place. Good call on that one.
Just as you have endured within this dimension, so too my will shall remain. You will never be safe, so long as...
I don't have the full set.
Shut the fuck up.
I only have 3 items. I have the helm. I want the full set. Then of course I'll put on the full set. I even want the weapon. Why aren't you repping the set? I need the full set. Okay. Dang, this takes so long to load.
Only the Supreme Ruler is fit to wield a crystal of such power.
Should I gave you the whole thing? Oh, I'll double check. Oh, maybe I disassembled them because they
seems
were
to
under
be an
494 or 495 or something.
Now follow suit and serve me as your master. What fine creature! Abase yourself. Stand in awe. Repent for your sin. Tremble in Christ. On your knees. Disappear. Trifling ambitions as you. I shall reign over all
Okay, here we go, phase 2.
I shall own up to my mistakes. Abase yourself. On your knees. Fade from existence. Standing tall. Beg and I make you move. I doubt. Savor the flames of death. I bequeath you ruin. Disappear. On your knees. Be consumed with fear. Get your abase yourself. Witness hell's fury. Disappear into the Stygian abyss. Be consumed with fear. On your knees. Ground it all to dust. Abase yourself. Stand in awe. What fire! Disappear. Stand in awe. Beg and I make defeated by insects. Get back here.
Okay, not too bad.
Twice.
It's done! Your reign is over!
Punched him in the face.
It's overflowing. So this is what he was after.
Yeah, first try not too bad. I mean, I do have a few things that help.
Chaos become one with the Lufenian crystal? Then this path will lead to a different future. The future I meant to return to, Kupo.
He's a stubborn bastard.
Any forces he controlled before have left him. I sense no magic at all. He's just a regular person now, Kupo.
Good. Starting again from the bottom might improve his mood.
Now none stand in your way. Great change is on the horizon, Kupo. Chaos, take your rightful place as the god of discord.
What?
If we are to step foot into a different future,
Yeah, I know
then
sequel bait.
yet another is
Pretty much.
required to herald our arrival. Soon, a warrior of light shall sit on the throne of harmony. In the place of gods whose time is past, you two shall be the pillars upon which a new world is built. Kupo,
Yeah, it would be cool to see an Emperor Mateus spinoff. Could be fun, yeah. Jack doesn't want to be a Discord mod, correct? All this to become a Discord mod? Yeah, this is what you gotta do, guys. So this is not the end, to be very clear. I thought it was. I was like, what? This is the end? Feels awkward. Alright, I have to change. Yeah, so we got a new main mission, which I'll be doing in a second. And here you go. You now get 800% job affinity. Okay, I need to change my auto dismantle settings very slightly. Yeah, so anything 5-star or lower, I think. I should keep the most important things anyway. Yeah, so I have Cyclic Helm, which is obviously good. Holy fuck, that is good. But yeah, I'm missing a lot of important things too. Could just put confirm on. Yeah, I could. But like, dude, I don't wanna, I want things to be a little easy. Just autocomplete. Like, just auto do it for me, but just make it certain rarities. I like, there's some gear I'm gonna want to take a look at, so artifact gear, I think artifact gear is what I want to keep, right? Yeah. 5-star I'm okay with getting rid of, but like artifacts and whatnot, yeah. 5 stars, go ahead and get rid of, but artifacts and anything above that, I will dispose of. In fact, let me actually put my settings for that, so I just never have to worry about it again. At this point, you probably want to increase the chaos effect rank. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah. I think anything lower than 4 should work. Rank 4. No, maybe just rank 2 for the time being. No, I'll do rank 1. Alright, this ought to be interesting. Hope. Oh wait, I got rat tails. 81? Holy shit. Right, Witty. I think for the time being, I would just want... You think lower than 2? And everything on all should be alright. I'll go with lower on than 1 just for the time being, and then adjust accordingly. Oh, still gotta get used to all these buttons. Give me some free affinity, great. Okay, I got some more Dragoon. 400 Dragoon. $600 Samurai, not bad at all. Yeah, let's try this. We got one. This boss fight's pretty tough. And then, of course, the last one is gonna be quite fun.
You will die here, and I will live forever. In this endless cycle, a prison of my own making. Break it! Shine your light upon eternity and cleanse the stain of chaos! Or be snuffed out! You might do.
This boss is so sick, I agree.
Time for here it comes!
This one. This one. Ha!
Alright, phase 2 time. Not a joke. Okay.
All right. All right. Another chance. Getting desperate.
Oh, he's done. Whew. Tense, man. Tense fight.
My will manifest. Die, die, die!
That boss is also not easy, as you've seen. Got one shot because I didn't pay attention once. Okay. Alright, last main mission of the DLC. This is that's all I gotta say. It's about to get into crazy territory, I'll tell you that. It's we're about to have the final boss, and I will honestly say the final boss, in my opinion, is the hardest boss of this game. In my opinion. Yeah, this fight. We're at the fights. Yes, Garland. Yeah, this fight is peak. I love it.
Only light can break the chains of time. And only light can illuminate the way to a brighter future. But not without darkness to guide it. So we have become the shadows in the night, where only the bravest may dare tread.
Do you remember me? That's right. I am Garland!
Bathe the world in your brilliance and cleanse the stain of despair from its surface. Until that happens, the cycle of chaos will repeat again and again.
You will die here, and I will live forever!
And the music, by the way.
You will die here, and I will live forever.
Oh yeah, he can soul shield, by the way.
A prison of my own.
And I'm dead.
I look forward to doing this again in 2000 years.
I'm dead. Oh my god. Yes, he can. If you didn't know, he can soul shield your entire fucking combo.
This will help.
He can just... I blinked and you died. Yeah, that's how it goes.
You will die here. I will live forever. This a prison of my own making.
Bring it. Shine your light upon eternity and cleanse the stain of chaos. Or be snuffed out. Out of my way. It is enough. I will
Oh god. Shit. Oh shit, we're here. Oh my god. Seal of Blood's on Tetsuki, he doesn't give a fuck!
Good.
Good.
Don't fail us.
Intense, but very fun.
The chains of time were severed at last. The struggle that raged over 2,000 years had ended, and peace prevailed once more. Through the warriors' efforts, all was turned in its proper direction. With the world's forces flowing as they were meant, the warriors prepared to cross time and at last return to the home they knew so well. The four travelers took the forces that filled the world with darkness and used them to bathe the world in light. None will recall their struggle, for breaking the chains means it never occurred. Verily, all are unaware, but within the tales of fantasy that people tell, the memory of their deeds lives on. With the memory of their struggle buried deep in their hearts, they trust there is hope for the future of this world. Remember always that the forces of the world must be used as they were intended, that the power of light must never be used for dark, and that the fifth crystal resides ever in your heart. For the warrior who crossed time and fought alongside the others is you. And though you may forget your trials, you too are owed a debt of gratitude for seeing this journey through to its end. Thank you.
There you have it. That's the end of the DLC. Assuming this will load. There you go. There's the loot. Makes a tear run down my leg. And now the main theme has been changed. So we got epic. And you get some, yeah. They say an extremely hard mission has been unlocked as a reward for completing this content. I'm like, I guess. And then now you can go as the Warrior of Light as well. So you got Astos, Warrior of Light. You can look like them. But at this point, the story DLC is basically done. So it's all over now. Whoa! So what do we have here? Damage taken by Jack Garland, 59.6%. Earthen bracers. Damn, that's some pretty crazy loot. So, okay, question was, do you find it annoying that using Guardian Spirit skills when being close to Aotaki they get cancelled? A little annoying, but I just take it as I just need to get better at using them. I have to be a little bit more intelligent about using them. So I don't really mind all that much. The real question is that the first Garland fight or the final one from Final Fantasy 1? I think it's meant to be the final one. The final one after all the fiends are defeated. And so, I think that's what it's supposed to be. So yeah, at this point, it's like I can. Oh, there's shit like this. Supreme illusions. Got so many of these. Yeah, you get some pretty challenging missions up in here. But at this point, we're pretty much just back. Now it's like, okay, story stuff is done, and sure, I can unlock a couple of things. But at this point, it's just Rift stuff. Well, I like how the Rift took me much longer than this. Cool to see you play Strangers again. Thank you, thank you. Let's see if I picked up anything cool. Oh, got rid of it all. Also, BK has a gun now. Yeah. Floor 100 is when the Lufenia difficulty enemies start to come into play. And it gets kind of intense. But yeah, I've got like 70 floors. I thought it would take me longer to beat this. Ooh, my summoner, sure. That's whatever. Wait, the pirate guy has a gun? Yes, he gets a gun. Oh, it's a trade. No, I prefer the boots I have. If I wanted to, I suppose I could play Breaker. Oh, but I'd lose so much. Oh my god. Breaker with Shinzan Tetsuken. Oh my god. Yeah, so on Lufenia difficulty, all the enemies like get an upgrade. All the bosses get an upgrade. So right now I'm on Gilgamesh and it's really not that bad, but like on Lufenia difficulty, I get like pretty much, I should just show you. Some of these enemies just get fucking ridiculous. Let me see, do I got a Battle of the Bridge somewhere? Sure, I'll unlock it, why the hell not? So here, I fought Gilgamesh before and he's kind of crazy, but he's a bit crazier here. And he gets in more of a moveset and he just goes balls to the wall. No, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so like BK for example, he can chain cancel and just use a gun and just shoot you. Oh yeah, shit like he has a mix-up. You see this shit? Goodbye, Gilgamesh. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see Jack get the chain cancels. Like, I see what you mean. But dude, they gave him the most batshit insane things possible. Which was, like, just unfucking believable to me. For example, Seal of Blood Zantetsuken. And they gave him Teleport and Lunatic. He just buffs himself. I'm like, oh shit, he's buffing. Seal of Blood Zantetsuken, bro. Like, what the fuck? And just like overpower, and then Tenebrous Braid, Sacred Blade, like just like everything. Beat down Highbringer, Garo. And then just like boom boom, just like bam nonstop. Chain spell, and then if he Dark Crystal grabs you, you lose all your buffs. I think he steals them. And right, as someone was saying before, he like effectively wave dashes. Bear in mind, I'm having an easier time because I have invincibility during Lightbringer. So you'd think I'd be like, oh, it's chill and casual. No. He killed me. He wiped my Lightbringer and then just killed me. I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah, and then what would be super terrifying if he could parry your attacks? He can't parry, but he can soul shield a bajillion of them. I remember I was doing like 500 hits and then he's soul shielding everything and then boosting his stats. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, he gets Blood Weapon as well, and Lunatic, and then Chaos Bringer, and I'm like, and then it's just like everything happening. And he hits like a truck no matter what. But yeah, at this point it's just like, it's just doing the rifts and getting to like rift 100 and the grind. That's all it is at this point. It's just the grind. Yep, he can farm you for HP and buffs. Yep, he can heal himself to full. I've had it happen. It's definitely one of those intense boss fights that's very satisfying to beat. So I guess the question is, what do I do now? I don't think I want to grind the rift. I've already done it before. I know what to expect, I know what to do, I know how to do it, all that. Nah, I don't really want that. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good when it comes to playing Chaos. I just wanted to beat the DLC. Getting all the way to Rift 300 is just a grind. Quick and easy, just hit the final floor of the rifts. I've seen some people hack it, of course. Look at this. Yeah, totally feasible. Yeah, absolutely. Rank 100,000, sure. Whereas I'm rank 18,000. Okay. Oh, this one's legit. Jazz Frog. Yeah, this is actually legit. I'm pretty sure it's legit. Jazz Frog like spent so much time having the craziest builds and just going absolutely nuts. So I've like seen his videos at like rank 600. So his is legit. Other people's I imagine might be too, but I don't know. I know Jazz Frog is legit, or I believe it is anyway. Is there a war? The 10,000 one is legit though? Are you serious? No way. The guy posts often, dude also loves the color yellow. Okay. Well, fair. Alright. I don't think you get anything special for getting to the end. I think what happens is it just resets you at that floor again, and that's it. But it's effectively just, hey, you want endless content, go ahead and climb as far as you like, and that's about it. I've hit 300 and then I stopped. You know, that guy's been climbing hard. Dude, that's... Oh, okay, I guess that's some commitment, you know? I couldn't do it. I think, like, it just becomes so grindy. But, for anyone's information, the climb from 200 to 300 is about as difficult as it gets, because the climb from 300 to 400 is just kind of a replication of 200 to 300, and it just keeps repeating itself. So once you can handle 200 to 300 comfortably, or rather if you can just handle floor 300 very comfortably, the rest is just a matter of time, because you can get through shit easily. And you eventually learn to just go for linked gateways after linked gateways, and then you can just rapidly get a bunch of dimensional points. But gate 300, the null void in 300 is the hardest, because you have the multiple bosses back to back. I think you have 5 bosses. And yeah, so you got 5 bosses back to back, I think, in the null void. And then the Dragon Trials go to rank 10 or 9 or so. I think they go to rank 9 or something. But it's all the max ones. But yeah, so 300 and 400 or 300, 400, 500 and so on, you know, they're all basically the same. Right, it's 5 bosses, but it maxes out all the trials. And in case you're wondering what the hell these Dragon Trials are, let me see if I can show them to you. Any ones with some Dragon Trials? So you see these Dragon Trials, right? All of these, I think excluding the negate armor effects, all of these ones here get maxed. And they're pretty severe penalties at max rank. If they're at max rank 3, if they're at rank 3 out of 5, they're not too bad. They're pretty painful. But the difference is huge when you go to like 5. So let me see if I can demonstrate. So for example, let's go with max HP. Minus 2.5, right? Rank 1, that's not a big deal. Rank 2, 5%, okay, that's not too bad. Rank 3, whoa, 10%, okay, that's kind of intense. And then 20%, and then I would think that, oh, we're just going up double each time. 20%, 40%, no, we go to max 50%. Just shaved. That's just 1, and if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it's still at a rank 1. Alright? So you can imagine, so as I start to increase this, you deal with all of this. This is the rank 9 trial you will deal with on floor 300. So your builds will suffer immensely. Right, it gets some, and some players can kind of work around certain things. Like for example, for me, enemies recovering HP, like it's rough, but since I ran basically a break damage based build with Lightbringer, it sucks, but it's not that bad. But if you are an HP dependent thing and you leave enemies for a while, they will regenerate a shit ton of life and even back to full sometimes. Max HP reduction does suck, but it's not the biggest of deals for people if they don't take damage in the first place. Enemy attacks depleting buffs hurts a lot, and it even says reducing the duration of Lightbringer and all buffs. My character, when I was playing on the PC, was buff dependent. So I would, like, it really hurt to lose my Lightbringer because that is my lifeline. And so certain bosses like Jack Garland, for example, just quick little pokes and then I'm dead, and then like I don't, and then couple that with like, oh, all my buffs cost more MP in the first place, it hurts significantly. And then not to mention my ability to get MP is compromised. My buffs don't even last that long in the first place. It hurts, right? Like there's just so many penalties, all things considered. The suffer ailment when taking damage really sucks. Like, all of these together with very fast-paced bosses who can be incredible threats is serious, and it's very severe. Rank 10. What's that? What's the absolute highest? 150? Rank 11? Odd question. If you could add a trial, what would you add? Honestly, I have no clue. Break gauge max and social break cost means you can only hold social for like less than a second. Yeah, and then it just like goes away. It gets rough, so yeah, floor 300 is a big problem. No, go ahead, Woody. You answer it. It's cool. It's not obvious to me right now. What would you say? Enemy speed up? Oh, yeah, they have that didn't occur to me because I forget that they have increased it. Some of the things have increased action speed. Death Machine with increased action speed is so stressful. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just a faster Death Machine who can shoot more often. Yay. Death Machine is terrifying. Oddly enough, I will tell you, this trial is not as stressful as it looks. If I do things the right way, it's like not a big deal. So I'm doing like I'll do a Rift 180 thing and you'll be like, oh, it's actually not that bad.
Time for a change.
Well, that sucked. As long as I don't pay like an idiot, it's doable. But I don't think I want to do this, actually. If I do this, what'll happen is I can get 600%. Like, I've done this before where I would just persevere a little bit against Tiamat, and then she'd give me 600% Summon Blessing gear, which is like really handy. And then they can make the rift climb a lot better. Alright, well. Oh well. I think I'm good with the game. I'm trying to find a reason to keep going, but I don't think I have it, so it is what it is. Okay, not sure what you mean. There's a lot of group fights and they were awesome, but they got neutered and de-emphasized in some points. Okay, what's going on? Which is worse, Omega or Warmac or Death Machine? Well, that's hard. I found Death Machine to be scarier than Transcendent, to be honest. Red Mage, do it for Neon, do it for her. You meant double bosses like in Neo 1. I think it would just get too crazy, to be honest. It would just be too much. Honestly, for me to say that, like, yo, make sure you go build heavy in this game, like, builds matter more in this game, is a testament just how ruthless this game can be. I will say, when I have fought Jack Garland with an underpowered character, it is stressful as shit. It is so stressful. Like, my heart was pounding. I'm like, dude, like, one mistake and it's over. And I just think that level of stress is just too much. I think double boss fights that, like, if they just put 2 random bosses, I think it'd just be too much. Just way too excessive. And the only way to counter that would be to even have crazier builds. But the way that things are in Stranger of Paradise, you can have a crazy build and still get one shot, basically. As you've seen with me, even with invincibility on Lightbringer, I have still failed. If I'm not paying attention. And with boss fights, like, it's basically go full out glass cannon with some survivability. But that's, again, my experience. I think they didn't put 2 different bosses together because of how soul bursts work, because there's some bosses with enemies that are sick. Yeah, probably something to do with that. I find that double boss fights, when it's randomized, can usually just doesn't feel as good. Hey, Swolepool, welcome back. You were here for the final boss, right, Swolepool? Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were here. Yes, well, plus you were playing smart, use Greatsword and Katana. Right, I use a lot of synergies to assist me, and I still failed. I still fucked up. It's not like I went through it seamlessly. Like, I still have to pay attention. I'm still, like, buffing. Oh well. How are the Neo 1 double boss fights? I didn't find them that innovative. In the Underworld, specifically, it was pretty painful. It's like, most of the time it was... You basically had, like, your regular Neo 1 bosses with, like, a dojo boss, and it's like, it was just kind of sucks. Or you'd have Onryoki, and you fight, like, Onryoki, like, 30 times. There's some decent variety available with builds even later on. Part of the issues that line between reasonable and OP is hard to judge, yeah. I walked my dog after. Also, people need to put their dog on a leash. Wait, people don't put dogs on their leashes? In public? Yeah, Witty, I know you liked him, but I didn't. We can have a difference of opinion. Yeah, Everlasting Duty was a bit frustrating because it's like when it comes to video games, I of course, and I think everyone can agree with this, is that we just want to have fun in some capacity. Now, the manner in which we have fun can be different for different people, and obviously for a video game company, they're going to need to satisfy the core of their audience, which is fine. But like, I personally I haven't seen many double boss fights that feel appropriately fun. It's just like two random variables mixed together and then I kind of have to figure it out. It just feels like extra stress. Some people are assholes and don't leash their dogs because they're well-behaved lives. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, right, yeah. In my experience, double boss fights generally just don't feel that good. Double boss fights as in two bosses at the same time. So, like, for example, imagine in this game, you had to fight Jack... No, I'm not talking about the phases. I'm talking about Neo and just dual boss fights in general. Oh, you've never played Neo? You've never played Neo? Oh, man. Okay. Imagine in this game, you have to fight Jack Garland and Emperor at the same time. And that, like, imagine, like, Emperor casting Starfall on you while Jack Garland is doing Sword of Chaos, and just, like, all the shit that just happens. It gets overwhelming. That's fair. I really enjoyed Elemental Core. I think Elemental Core is appropriate, actually. I think Elemental Core is fine. I'm okay with Elemental Core has what? You have the fire and the water elemental at first, but there is definitely a lot of thought into putting how they interact with one another. And their spam can be difficult, but it's very clearly like planned. It's like, oh, they have like a combination attack, for example, and you got to avoid it this way. Or once spamming and then like you have to use tools from one and tools to the other. It's very intentionally designed for that. Even in Neo 3, for example, when you have Kusanagi and Himiko, there is a unique interaction within them, so it feels like, even though there's two entities that I'm fighting at the same time, it feels like there's a flow to it. There's some strategizing that could be done, so rather than it feeling like, oh, 500 different variables all at once, it's just one general system. For those of you that were here the other day for my Neo 3 stream where I was doing that Luster Crucible that had 4 enemies, there was the Bakegani, you had the Gaki, you had the Raven Tengu, and Itsumare. It's like, that's a lot to manage. So it was frustrating in that moment because things were doing things I wouldn't expect. Like, they weren't all trying to fight me at once, which was one thing. It'd be like, oh, I'm engaging with one enemy, and then he would disengage to let his friend come in. I'm like, wait, I thought you were the one I'm fighting, Raven Tengu. Why did you stop being so passive? And then Bakegani's like, oh, hey, my turn. We're gonna tag, and then we just go in. It just like didn't feel intuitive, and so it kind of like took me out of it. So it's a lot of those types of things where it just takes me out of it. And when it doesn't feel like planned together, it just... Right, and as you guys are seeing on YouTube, it feels very just like random, accidental, rather than a very thoughtful, design, intentional sort of combination. That difference makes a significant factor in whether I will have fun with the fight. Right, group AI can be weird sometimes, right? And with bosses, like, they're both going to be aggressive. And just with video games, and as Woody was talking about for Neo 1, you have Nine-Tailed Fox blinding you with how bright the tails are as you're trying to, like, deal with Toyotomi, and it's just like... It's like, what the fuck am I doing? What's happening? I'm just having all this shit clutter my screen, because, you know, we need more visual clutter for our games. And so it just kind of becomes an unfun experience. And for me, I just, like, I rarely like the double boss fights. I certainly think Team Ninja learned a lot in between the Neo games. So, like, with Neo 1, for example, they had I think they had like they had the double boss fights, but it was just you. And then in Neo 2, they'd usually have like, oh, you got a double boss fight. We're gonna have certain times where the other boss will show up for the extra challenge. Or it's gonna be rare, like Mizuki Gozuki will be a big challenge. Right, like, and we'll give you some co-op AI partners, which are actually kind of useful too. And it's like, okay, it's not too bad. But yeah, like double boss fights, just in my experience, I haven't really experienced too many good ones. Ones that I'm like, yo, that was so hype. It's pretty rare for me. Those are the types of things that I would say are more appropriate in like Ninja Gaiden, where you have like the trials. So, you know, Ninja Gaiden 4, it's like kind of expected. In Neo 1, Honda and Munishige must be fought separately, but there's a clear synergy between how they fight differently. What do you mean, synergy? What setup do I run in this game? I'll show you. So this is what I beat DLC 3 with. So, Dragoon. So I went Holy Dragoon, and then I went Genji for Samurai. So yeah, this is what I beat DLC 3 with. Like one fast, one slow kind of thing, I suppose. In theory, I'm sure it could work, but in practice, from what I've seen in Neo 1, it's like, okay, boss 1 here, boss 1 there. Who's the boss that's going to be fighting me? Okay, you have Honda and you have Tachibana. Okay, cool. Let me have one boss behind the rock while the other one just slowly comes to me, and then I'll kite. They're paired together because the one is slower threat that's steadily approaching. Yeah, it's true. Okay, I'll concede that. I still didn't find it fun. But yeah. Can it work? Yeah, but is there better? If I had to pick between them investing their time and energy into double boss fights versus just doing what they're doing now, I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing now. Could you imagine like in Neo 3, could you imagine fighting... Here, I'll take 2 bosses. You'd blame the rock then? Alright, let me put it this way. Let's put the double boss fight thing to the test. A little bit. Let's just take Tokugawa Kunimatsu and pair him with Kajiwara Kagetoki. Or whatever his name is. Pair them together. How many people would love that? Yeah, Witty would say yes, but I'm pretty sure other people wouldn't. Would that be super awesome and fun for you? Fighting... Would that be exciting? So Rupinder, you're saying Soji and Kunimatsu not fun? What, you don't like Hatchet Guy spamming the Pokemon while Kunimatsu does Kunimatsu things? Ronin had very intentional and good double boss fights, actually. Yeah, I think Ronin actually did a good job. I would agree. They weren't like the absolute most memorable, but they were kind of fun. I think a big part of it is just that the player has quite a lot of power when it comes to just countersparking. So you could do that, and counterspark could be both offensive and defensive. Just give me the theme boss fight, Yoshitsuneba's Benkei. The question is that a reason to remove it entirely because some people might not like the fight despite being optional? It's less... So one, they haven't done that. It's more... I don't think double boss fights as a concept is bad. I just think in practice it could be better. That's all. So I'm stress testing... in my mind... And it's just a thought experiment. I'm stress testing with certain bosses. I take two of the most disliked bosses of the game, pair them together. People are like, fuck no, I don't want to deal with that. Because 99% of double fights are not necessarily for completion. Yeah, I know. But in terms of me enjoying a game, ideally I'd want to enjoy all of it. Saying, hey, this is optional, but if you don't do it, you'll miss out, feels bad. Right, because that's the thing. If I avoid, like a Soul is saying, if I'm avoiding content in a video game because I find it very unfun, is that good? I would say no. I want, like, do a triple boss fight, all the demons. That'd be so rough. That's also an issue. If it could be better in your eyes, but you're removing the chance for them to even experiment with it, how can they improve it in your opinion? They could test it. They don't have to do it in the main game. They could test it with other people beforehand. They could experiment or have beta tests or something specific. I agree. What I find unfun could be fun for somebody else. Agreed. My opinion can be very biased, which is why if I was going to try to figure out, hey, what if I want to put a double boss fight in the game and I'm curious about how I can do that, then one, let me have a vision about it beforehand, and then let me test that with some people. I think Team Ninja, even without getting a lot of data, has been doing a phenomenal job with how they have been overall improving things for their games. Especially the Neo series, they took a big risk with style shift. Like, it was very polarized. The reception was quite polarized on the internet for that. But I agree with them, it was in the right direction. It opens up so many new things, so many creative possibilities from there. But the thing is, I would want them to test it out and flesh it out, because as it is for double boss fights that I'm currently experiencing, I don't find any of them memorable. I don't think there's a single double boss fight in any of the Neo games that I've been like, yo, that was so cool. And then again, double boss fights, I mean like two random bosses put together. This is separate from very intentionally designed double boss fights. Obsidian Samurai Nobunaga, to me that still fits their random stuff. Like, that's obviously a theme there in terms of the characters, but like, it's not like, oh yeah, I really enjoyed fighting both of them at the same time. Not necessarily. I'm not advocating for doing things you're not already doing or have done consistently. Okay. I mean, Nobunaga shows up. After the gauntlet, I hit him with that haze, and then he was done so nice. Yeah, I'm with Soulpool on this, where it's like, I find in my experience that double boss fights they feel much more accidental, random, as opposed to intentional. Like, the only intentionality is, oh, the characters have a narrative overlap. But gameplay-wise, it's not like, oh, they have a cool synergy attack. Yeah, I played the Underworld. I beat it. I beat the Abyss and the Underworld. So, like, I remember Floor 999 of Neo 1, Ryo Sanada Yukimura and Date Masamune. Was it cool to see the both of them together? Yeah, but fighting it, I remember when I was doing it took me like 3 days. And when I beat it, was I relieved that I beat it? Yeah, but did I really want to do it again? No, I'm not like, oh yeah, I want to really be excited to do it. If bosses, I would want double boss fights to have each boss synergistically work well together, and so it's just a fun, unique combination, rather in a well thought out combination, rather than what I perceive to be just hodgepodge, two things put together. Some people love that stuff. Yeah, some people do. Some people really do like that. And the devil's in the details, and feeling that they might be random doesn't always translate to the fight itself. Okay, which examples? So one thing is, obviously fun is very subjective. right? Obviously, my definition of fun will be subjective compared to yours. So I'm of the opinion that my claim is basically just, hey, like, none of the boss fights are that fun, and I would hope... It's not really a claim, it's just an opinion. I'm struggling to think of examples where I'm like, hey, this double boss fight was fucking peak. I can't think of it. Does that mean it doesn't exist? Absolutely not. But if you do, and you feel very strongly about it, I would like to hear about it more. So, Rupinder, I'm also talking to people on YouTube. It's not just you on Twitch. Remind me which ones in Ninja Gaiden were double? Oh, no, yeah, you switched from over there, from here, from there. Okay, alright, fair. Alright, why am I recording? I don't need to record anymore. I remember Oda and Yukiona annoyed the fuck out of me. Yeah, me too. Synergy in a lot of cases emergent. I would want to argue that it should be much more obvious. In Ninja Gaiden 2, were there any double boss fights? I mean, you had what, like Dagradai with the fiends, but that was just annoying. I didn't really care for Dagradai. I guess part of the reason I feel strongly about it is because there's a very clear movement for removing them consistently. That's fair, man. I'm not saying the concept double armadillo, no. I don't think the concept of double boss fights in of itself is bad. Not at all. To go to an absolute perspective and say, oh, all double boss fights are bad, I'm like, no. I think in theory they can be fucking amazing. I just noticed that in my experience in practice, they haven't been that fun. So what I want more than anything is I do want a double boss fight where two bosses work well together. And it feels like a bit more like unique to have two people come attack me, but then there's sort of like a fun rhythm to work with it, and it feels very well thought out. Double armadillo, yeah. So those are obviously like extreme examples, and obviously Team Ninja won't do anything like that. 3 Fiend Genshin's online. But I would certainly want the more well thought out like double boss fights. So Witty, you're saying you enjoyed Oda and Yukiona. I definitely think that one is much more manageable because Yukiona only starts to really become a threat under 50% HP or something. So she's not as crazy, so she's kind of like the caster. Whereas Nobunaga is much more up in your face, so it's like, okay. And I understand that logic applies as well to Honda and to Tachi, basically. So in that respect, that strategy is like a bit emergent compared to just like having bosses all up in your face. Or bosses being passive, and it's just like awkward. But having more of that type of intentionality and very directly would be nice. The idea of wanting them well thought out is all well and good, but where do you draw that line? I don't know the answer to that, unfortunately. Also, I'm not a huge fan of getting one shot off screen because Neo is Neo, yeah. yeah. I think it's also important to not just consider the synergy between the bosses, but also the player moveset, which is a big factor, yeah. Oddly enough, I do think it's Neo 3 would be more well suited to have double boss fights than prior games. Because players have things like deflect, which is really nice. Neo 1 and Neo 2 don't really have that, so it's a lot harder to manage. Neo 3 you can deflect. Right, the arena itself does matter as well. Like, things can work. It's just how it's implemented makes a big difference. Right, Neo 3 has a lot more defensive options for the player. You've got evade, you've got ninjutsu, you got a lot of different tools. So it's like the Neo 3 can get away with it more often. Like in Neo 3, let's see, fighting Mizuki and Gozuki is not nearly as oppressive as I would expect. Sure, you have co-op partners to assist you, but it's like, it's pretty manageable. That's like also the Grand Arnie. Every Neo game has been adding more and more powerful anti-group options as they've been removing double bosses and killing group AI. Oh, I see what you mean now. Okay, I think I understand your perspective more. So, are you concerned it's... Okay, yeah, like, I remember you and I are both kind of irritated with the group AI sometimes in Neo 3. We're like, bro, fucking fight me! It'd actually make it better if y'all were like to come to try to attack me. I can manage that as opposed to, oh, engage, and then just randomly disengage. I'm like, what the fuck? And then Itsumade grab out of nowhere. I'm like, what the shit? That's awful. I'm like, the hell? And then couple that with the lackluster lock-on, which I think Stranger of Paradise does a good job with lock-on compared to Neo. Then it's like very frustrating. Right, panic dodge is viable with Ninja. Yeah, so you have that. To be clear, there are double and triple boss fights in other games that I really like. Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. Hey, what's up, Grinch? Yo, a breath of fresh air, yeah. Oh, I've already beaten DLC 3. I'm chilling. I'm chilling now. I beat DLC 3 like an hour or so ago. I'm just chatting with people. What did you miss? The entirety of DLC 3. On Monday, I climbed Rift's floor 22 to basically 30, and I'm on 31 now, but I got to 30. And then today, I just did the entirety of the DLC 3 stories. Content. I mean, you always make it look easy. Thank you. Pretty much. So right now on YouTube, Grinch, I'm having a chat about like double boss fights. But before I get to Witty's point on YouTube, I'm going to answer a question. How did I find the DLC bosses? DLC 3, absolutely peak. I think the DLC bosses are fan-fucking-tastic. I think fighting the bosses on Lufenia difficulty is just so glorious. So glorious. Like, even Chaos Advent on Lufenia difficulty is, like, kind of a threat. Does, like, Knight's Gambit. I'm like, what the shit? Okay. BK, who can chain cancel to shoot a gun at you. It was pretty rough. Starting a new character is a humongous task. I didn't actually spend too much time. Let's see, how much did it take for me to beat this? Like 24, 25 hours the way I did it. I didn't get everything done, but got enough done. Alright, so back to what Witty is talking about. So pretty much, and by constantly cutting off all these avenues for making interesting fights against multiple enemies, it'll only pigeonhole design later on. I agree. And then in constant complaints about group fights, etc., before putting time in to learn them, encourages them further to remove more variety. Yeah, if they're not doing good data collection in regards to group fights, then if they're not really understanding what the problems are with group fights, and they're trying to make solutions that based off of incomplete data, yeah, totally. They're gonna go down the wrong way, and it's just gonna feel shitty. Guaranteed, I agree with you on that. So Chicken Burrito, you don't know why some decisions in 3 are like this? Some things feels very different than in Neo 2. Do they need to rework most of the basic things every time? It's a good question. Like AI and small animation stuffs. Right, it is interesting. So I think one thing, all things considered, that I wish Team Ninja did, by and large, for their games, is actually include their reasoning when they're making certain changes. Even if I don't agree with their reasoning sometimes, I would still appreciate to see, hey, this is why they made this balance change. Here's what they are noticing based on data. So, just to see, hey, they're making some really interesting, like, not only data-driven decisions, but like meshing that with their big vision and understanding like the direction they're trying to take can really help me, at the very least, understand like what they're hoping for in their games. It's cool. Like I would like to know that. You know, so for... Oh, I don't have Neo 3 up. I can bring it up. Yeah, but what if they say we change it because they wanted to? Well, why did they want to? The human key in Neo takes multi-human... makes human fights interesting instead of the possibility bosses. But the way human bosses operate compared to regular enemies removes some interesting interactions. Okay. I'd have loved to have something like seasonal characters with new content, something like Diablo 3, adding some gear sets maybe, and seeing how similar the floor system loot experience. It would have made sense to add seasons, and keeping the game alive would have been an easy and lazy task. Yeah, that could have been cool. They legit have the, like... They have the skeleton here, Grinch. I see what you mean. It's like, okay, here you go. You got some seasonal sets. And... You go with these jobs, and we'll give you this, or we'll give you that, or something. It could have been cool. They could have... There's a lot they could have done with this game, and it breaks my heart they just, like, didn't. Because that idea that you have is, like, is awesome. Tiger's loyal subjects died for nothing. I forget what that was. For me, Swolpool, right now they provide very little reasoning from my experience. I just want more. Like, oh hey, this skill was overperforming and therefore we reduced it. As opposed to just saying, we reduced the power of this. I think transparency is cool and all, but opening yourself with transparency isn't always great, as if people don't like the reason, it's fuel for the fire. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, sure. I guess it's ultimately a decision of how they want the future of their company to go. Naturally, some people aren't reasonable. And I'll just say this from my own line of work. I'm usually very transparent with my clients. Very transparent with my clients, and I try to be. And one, it helps, it helps in many regards. Now, do generally some people dislike some of the things I'm transparent about? Yeah. But ironically, these are the same clients that do not succeed. Like, I'll tell you a story, because I've had to, like, I've lost clients, by the way, because as a coach, sometimes I'll be very upfront. Now, I won't be mean to them. Just to be very clear. I'm not going to be mean to them. But I'll be transparent with them because I'm trying to help them. But some clients, for whatever reason, will interpret what I will say. And you guys know what I'm like when I'm mean, and generally how I am. I kind of speak the same way I do now to you guys, in the same way I speak to them. I try to treat everybody equally. So I think you guys have, for those of you who've seen like me at my worst, so to speak, like you have that idea. So you can be the judge of that to see if you think I'm being unreasonable. And you just let me know if that's the case. But continuing on, I've had clients who, when I tell them that, like, hey man, like, I'm really concerned about you because this trend that you're going through, what you're doing, is really creating a lot of problems. Like, I had one client, I won't name him. Of course, not that anybody would you know who I'm talking about. But I had to call him out on his bullshit. I'm actually being wording it harshly here compared to how I worded it with him. But he was like, oh, what if my soon-to-be ex-wife or my wife who's leaving me is like, I'm pretty sure she's probably like cheated on me or had affairs or whatever. And I was like, wait, how do you know, dude? And even if she did, I'll get your point, Soulpool, so I need to make sure I don't get distracted. Anyway, I guess the exact details, but I was telling him basically, dude, your behavior is very hypocritical. And I was wording it very nicely. So he eventually was like in denial over the fact that she was like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, wait, didn't you like have affairs on your wife and you said you were toxic or whatever? And he was like, yeah, but it wasn't really cheating. It wasn't really having an affair. I'm like, wait, you had sex with other women while you were married and you didn't tell your wife about it and it's not something you agreed to. And he's like, yeah, but it was an affair. No, it was her fault that I cheated. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, it was just like classic denial. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh shit. And I had to like make him aware that like, dude, you carry that this type of thinking and behaving is not gonna help. It's not gonna make your wife want to like fall in love with you or like stop the divorce at all. If anything, she's gonna want to run for the hills. And he's like, well, it's her fault. The marriage fell apart. It's not mine. I'm like, oh my god, dude, what are we doing? Eventually, I lost his business when I raised my prices because I was giving him the services I was providing for him, dude. I was barely charging anything. And I've never heard from this client since, and other clients. So I realized that me trying to be transparent with him, it wouldn't have mattered what I did. At that point, it was a lost cause. Now, for gaming and for a company, obviously there isn't that sense of like personal connection. So, right, gaming, like internet gaming communities, yes, some people can be very hostile and some people can be very loud. I mean, shit, I'm pretty dissuaded about it too. Like, I don't engage, like when Ninja Gaiden 4 there were a lot of like topics about it, about this, suck to target, this and that. I didn't engage in that shit because it was draining for me. But if I'm a company and I'm a business leader and I want to incorporate sales, I have a choice to make. Whether I put my voice out there, then if I feel like, hey, I had good reasoning for my stuff, and I genuinely believe in it, and I still believe in it, I've thought about the counter arguments to this stuff, and I consider it, and I still think my stuff's the way to go, then I have a choice to either express that or not. Now, in other words, does the company want to control the narrative for their own product, or just leave it to the devices of everybody else and just hope they don't get bad press? One is, I take options within my control which can make a noticeable positive difference, or I just leave it to fucking chance. There's different pros and cons to it. So maybe Team Ninja feels not engaging with it might be better for them. Okay, I suppose. Maybe. But at that point, I would have to consider, why the fuck is my audience so hostile to my reasoning in the first fucking place? And if we look at Ninja Gaiden, there are very understandable reasons for that. Very understandable reasons. I may not agree with some of the ways people have express that. But like the core of it, I'm like, bro, I can't blame longtime Ninja Gaiden fans for being genuinely discouraged from seeing, hey, this main character Ryu Hayabusa that I had didn't get the treatment I wanted in Ninja Gaiden 4, and I was under the impression he was making a comeback, but he's just like a guest star basically. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, that's gonna hurt the Ninja Gaiden fan base. Just plain and simple. Or past experience with Ninja Gaiden, like Ninja Gaiden 3, and then they released Razor's Edge. A lot of people's experience soured. So what I'm saying is, sure, like, it's not nice for, say, a company, so to speak, to get some of that negative press, but like, dude, some of it's kind of fucking deserved. Now, if Team Ninja wants to have a better dialogue and better reception to their shit, keep doing, the only thing they can really do is to keep doing things that would invest in a long-term future that gives them good shit. Good stuff, good practices, higher standard of stuff. Sure, just because their gaming communities may not be the healthiest, fuck that. Rise above. They're the ones making the games. For me, now contrast that to Neo, since I'm very passionate about Neo. I will say that from what I've seen, people's opinions about Neo 3 are, in my experience, a little unfair. So what do? Because I'm like, well, either I can fixate on the shit I can't control. I'm gonna focus on, let me just try to enjoy Neo 3 as much as I can and do cool shit. And I focus on that and trying to create a product based on that. Now for a company, when it comes to like managing, I guess, their community, fortunately they do have individuals such as Team Ninja's community manager. And I'm sure he is, I think he's doing the job as he ought to be. But yeah, like, it would be really nice to have just some reasoning. I think Team Ninja fans that are highly invested, such as ourselves, like, I think players like myself, a lot of good faith players like myself, are willing to do a lot of legwork for these companies for fucking free. Right, like I know Witty, you for example, did a phenomenal job with a very thorough report on like everything that you wanted. I like read the whole thing. I'm like, god damn dude, you're devoted. You typed many words, a lot of thought put into it. So yes, so that good. I don't like. I mean, Soulpool, I agree. I think a lot of online gamers can be assholes. At least a lot of the vocal ones. I totally agree with you, just to be fair. But rather than giving a fuck about that narrative, dude, do your own shit as a company. Do good shit. If the quality of what you're doing is good, I don't really blame companies for not communicating. Like, I get that. Like, I get why they wouldn't. But there are also examples of video games in which companies do a damn good job and people are very happy about it. Very happy about it. Shit, that's why that's why, like, I was devoted to Ninja Gaiden. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox 3D, oh my god. It was like hype. And then of course you have people who've enjoyed From Software titles and they love it and they're very passionate about it. Because at some point they gave a product that blew people's minds away. So of course, like, I have faith in, like, obviously some people are going to be shit. But I have faith that a loyal fan base to a company, they'll eventually feel very incentivized to, like, spread the love about games. And to advocate for their games. Obviously, are gamers the most emotionally intelligent? on average? No. But hey, companies, don't let that be an excuse to do better. My guess is for Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo, all things considered, from my experiences, ideally they'd like to do this too. Realistically speaking, they are swarmed with work. Because when I went to Koei Tecmo America's office in California, there was like a grand total of 3-4 employees. And I'm like, for the entirety of of America? I'm like, fucking what? That's it? One guy managing 7 games? I'm like, oh dear lord. Or the people who have to evaluate all the forms to like give out content creator codes. I think there's like one person dealing with like thousands of things. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I'm like, bro, they're probably just overwhelmed. That's most likely the answer. Is that they're just fucking overwhelmed with sheer work. And it's just like, they'd love to go into more of this luxury territory, but they just cannot. I do remember an interview where they said there's some stuff they want to do, but they feel like they need to point at people saying they want it to justify it. The devs need to figure out the real problems, because if they listen to gamers, you get the Wolong loot system, which many did not like, but was what people asked for to some degree. Right. I would be hesitant about trusting kind of an audience in which it's not clear why they like what they like. Really, I would try to understand what it is they really, really want, but cannot express. What is it that they're really going for? Because you're right, Garlands. People will ask for things, and then when they get it, it's not actually what they want because they didn't really understand it. All I'm trying to say, in a nutshell, is I do think Team Ninja could take action on this to get ahead of a lot of other future problems. I really think they could. Oh yeah, Wolong was not that grindy in comparison. But they need to focus on treating the disease, not the symptoms. Yeah, I would agree. And I also think that I want Team Ninja to get ahead of whatever they're working on. Not have to feel like they're having to crunch deadlines. I would want their jobs to feel easier, even though they have to work, even though they work hard, right? And I would want to help. Not just like, hey, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that. You know, giving them more work. So having like some communication to deal with future problems in advance would be nice. You know, for example, players have to, like, okay, let's see, like in Wolong wasn't grindy because you could just morale to victory. But it also could be very grindy because of how Amaze worked before DLC 2 and how 10K Mile Journey worked. Often the not finding the disease is difficult. Yeah, I agree. That's why I would say I would want the company to focus their time on doing that. If they could. But my guess is they just don't have time for that. Not really. I mean, game development... The gaming business can be pretty harsh, as I'm sure some of you have learned recently, where I think Berserker Kazan, the studio with it, got shut down. Ouch. Right, or Wu Chang Fallen Feather, same thing, staff got laid off. Business can be rough, right? So who knows? But for example, even having some explanation, some extra information in Neo 3 could make a large impact, not only in the sense of giving players a clear understanding of what to expect if they're more technically inclined, but also in the prevention of shit like bugs. For example, deflect frames for all the samurai weapons, there is a difference for some time for like, I think it was dual swords and cestices had like different frames compared to like other weapons. But that shit wasn't apparent for some time. So if that was like clear up front in some capacity, and players noticed a difference, they'd be like, oh shit, frame data, this doesn't actually work. Here, company, here you go, here's a report. Like, super fast, as opposed to like waiting a long time. In the same way, bug reports. When players discover bugs, things that can't be... You know, some of the bugs, of course, are just unfortunately inevitable. But it'd be nice to be able to give that information up front. If we know how things work, generally are meant to work in some capacity, players can recognize, okay, here's kind of the standard. Oh, something's deviating from it. Let me let the company know. Neo is a good place, and with even all the complaining, fundamentally, most of the complaining is rather small. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway. Alright, so I kind of got lost in a train of thought. So, Grinch, I don't know if you're still here. If you are, I know you asked the question like 15 minutes ago. Okay, you are. So you had asked the question, have you noticed if it is harder to keep a marriage nowadays? I think any data I were to give to you based on that is much more correlational than any causational thing. I do notice certain trends in what types of people have difficulty sustaining relationships and maintaining marriages and healthy relationships in general. And it's not going to surprise you either. It's a large part of it is people who refuse to take accountability for their shitty behavior. Plain and simple. Well, I'm glad, Soulpool, that you enjoyed it. A lot of deep thoughts and discussions. It was great. I wouldn't say it's harder to maintain a marriage. I think harder based on what would be the question that I would want to have answered from someone asking that. And so it's like, well, why would it be harder? And usually the answers are very telling about what might be the real problems that someone is actually facing. So like there was this YouTube video I was watching today, and it was this psychologist, and she's now a psychologist educator. She used to be a therapist, but now she's on YouTube doing YouTube things. And she was reviewing a book. It's called like Why Women Deserve Less. And it's as bad as it sounds. And then just her giving kind of a summary of this book. And then I'm thinking like, dude, it's so obvious why women do not want to be with this guy. Or why anyone buying into these points, well, no women would really seriously entertain a long-term relationship with this guy. So it's like, yo, you think women deserve less? Who the fuck says shit like that? Yes, the woman I'm going to marry, she deserves less of me. I'm like, do you not want to provide the best for the love of your life? Exactly, who the fuck says things like that, right? Oh, it's because of women this, society is changing that way, and this like that. You're like, what the fuck is this delusional? Like, this guy clearly has issues. That's the problem here. It's like, and you're like, oh my god. And this person's like, oh, women are victims of their own shit and self-victimization. And it's like, dude, you have the most self-victimization arguments, contradictory bullshit ever. No, it's not me, it's you're the problem. I'm like, who the like, no healthy person talks like this. So yeah, Grinch. when I notice that, I'm like, good luck having a relationship, bro. You'll charm somebody for a little bit, and then they'll smell your stink, and then they are gone. Gone. Like, my reaction when I see the title, I'm like, oh my fucking god. Alright, let me like look into it. Maybe I'm a little crazy. And then I'm just like, no, there's so much evidence this guy sucks. I'm out. I'm like, I'm out. Anyone who associates with this, I'm like, nope. I'm out. Don't care. You hate those kinds of books, they prey on young men who are confused and frustrated and leads them to be more lonely. Yeah, it's like a lot of grifting. It's a call grifter act. And it's terrible, dude. It's terrible. So, yeah, I you know, when I can see people cite statistics, but again, a lot of the data is correlational. It can speak to groups at large and trends, but there can be kind of a mistake in thinking that just because this is the norm, per se, it means that it will 100% apply to your case. With my clients, I do notice the tendencies on an individual basis, but it's a unique thing. I don't think it's harder to, but in a nutshell, I don't think it's any harder to maintain a marriage today as it was before. I think if two people want to be married together, they will, and they're genuinely happy with each other, it'll be easy. Like, effortless. But a lot of that comes through a lot of long-term things. Are there factors which could make marriages harder? Absolutely. But usually those who are in a healthy frame of mind, they'll make it work. It won't matter what the situation is. It won't matter if there are problems like, oh, one person's been through trauma, or one person, like, it literally, it won't matter. With clients that I worked with, like, I think over a year ago, it literally didn't matter what their circumstances were. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. You can make it work. It's why things like long distance, like, come on, we live in a day and age where long distance relationships are possible. You could be on the other side of the world. Like, we had a client at my past job, and there was a client his wife was leaving him, and then like she moved across the planet, and then later like she moved back in. He's just like, oh yeah, my husband's great now. Okay. And I know not only will he be great now, it'll be permanent, and it'll be good for the foreseeable future, and it's just gonna get better and better. Okay, cool. I mean, shit, look at even my life. Like, I got divorced back in 2022, and now it's 2026, and I'm streaming video games here, and Cass and I are gonna go have dinner in a few minutes. Like, we're friends, we're not in a romantic relationship by any means, but like, anything's possible if... anything's possible. It's just a matter of, are you putting time and energy consistently towards the person? If so, great. My mother says, why do young people's marriages don't last? In my times, we just stood strong and saved our marriages at all costs. And you think people don't allow mistreatment as they used to, that's all? Yeah. Dude, people would save their marriages at all costs. The question that I would have encouraged your mother to ask, not saying for you to do this, is just like, hey, so why aren't they? So she's asking that rhetorical question. I would ask her, hey, really try to understand why they don't last, and then you can make conclusions just as Grinch is doing, which is like, I think a big part of it is the marriages are actually shitty, and they didn't put up with shit, and they don't want to put up with shit anymore, and they have higher standards for marriages, and so they're gonna dissolve it rather than putting up with bullshit and abuse. It's like, okay, sure, you stood strong in the face of being abused by your spouse. You saved your marriage. You just sacrificed your whole self in the process. Hooray, enmeshed relationship. It's like, well, I mean, you could do that. Or you could be with somebody that you want to be with and who wants to be with you, and it's going to be awesome. Right, it could be like, oh, let me go to a job. I know this job mistreats me and abuses me and I get paid for shit, but I'm gonna sit in with it because it's part of my ethics and my standards to stay in a job no matter what, even if my boss is being shit to me. I think everyone would be like, bro, whatever this job situation is fucking bad for you, please get a better job. Go get paid more. No, but even though other people could get paid 6 figures at this, I'm okay. I'm gonna stay here and only get minimum wage. Even though I bust my ass off for 80 hours a week, minimum wage is okay. It's like, wait, bro, no. Go get paid adequately. Like, hello. And those with, you know, enough self-esteem will usually be like, bro, I'm not getting paid shit at my job. I literally will just go get a better job. Bye, shitty boss. See ya. And then just leave and move on and forget about it. I love your story, Poof. Takes a real man to be like, I'm okay with being friends. If things change, it changes. If not, oh well. Yeah, I'm very outcome independent. It's like, even if I was in a relationship with Cass, nothing I do will change. Literally. Like, okay, that's kind of a lie. I would probably be more loving to her because we would be in a relationship where she's comfortable with that. But if she wasn't comfortable with something in a relationship anyway with me, then I wouldn't do it anyway. So that aspect doesn't change. It's like, okay, sure, now we're in a romantic relationship, certain things we're more comfortable with by virtue of getting to that space. But in terms of the process, nothing changes for me, so I don't give a fuck on some level. It's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, I'll still be nice. I'll still be doing this. I'll still be doing that with being friends or not being friends. I would still want the best for her as her friends as I do now. If nothing changes, I just don't need to worry about it. So, okay. I'm good. So, chicken burrito, you don't really... You're talking about... Never got a partner, it couldn't get worse for me. I don't really feel lonely most of the time, only some brief moment, probably hormones and shit. And honestly, that's fine. I'm like... Being single is fine. I'll tell you this from experience. I would much rather be alone than be around shitty people. Oh my god. Oh my god. We'll put it into context for anybody else who may not be able to relate. Would you rather... So... Imagine you're watching a YouTube video. Tell me which outcome you'd prefer, or which experience you'd prefer. One where you see all sorts of YouTube internet comments that are shit, or just no comments at all. I imagine people be like, dude, fuck those shitty YouTube comments. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to read it. I'd rather have no comments. It's kind of the same thing. I agree with Soulpool. Being comfortable with yourself being single does make you more attractive, and I'll tell you why. In my opinion, it's because when you are choosing a relationship, you're choosing it because you want to, not because you need it to fill some hole in yourself. Like, for example, one that I've seen is, oh, I'm only worthy of love or being treated well if I'm with somebody. If I'm not with somebody, then I'm a shit person. I'm like, that is really sad and I feel bad for you, but a relationship won't, no matter how hard you try, the relationship won't fill that hole for you. Right. And naturally, as Swolpo was saying, it can start to leak out desperation. And even even in the perfect case scenario where someone is desperate, it's like even in the short term, if things can work out, and assuming there's no future problems from it, it's not as good as what it's like to come to a relationship because you genuinely want to. When you make a choice, you're like, I'm choosing this person because I want to be with this person, not because it's gonna make me whole. I'm already whole, or at least whole enough, and I want to be with this person because we add value to each other's lives. It's fun. It's good shit. When you don't need somebody but you choose them because you want to be with them, in my experience, that's where the magic really happens. I think that's wonderful, Chicken Burrito. You feel like you haven't reached the standard as well. That's fantastic to be able to admit that, and then hopefully to start working on that too. To become the type of person where you feel like, you know what, I genuinely believe that I'm a good partner, and I would be now. And so now when I go into relationships, I feel good about myself, I know my own worth, and I can find somebody who works out stuff with me. You spend too much time playing video games? Like, take it from me. Believe it or not, like, I had I guess this will be a long story, but video games themselves are fine. It's usually other kind of symptomatic, other things that can be a bigger problem. Soulpool, your partner should enhance you and not fix you. Yeah. No one can fix you except yourself. It's just, it's impossible. Even parents who have, like, parents with children, parent-children dynamic, where parents are meant to raise their kids. Parents can't fix their kids. What parents have to do, in my experience, is basically just lead and showcase a strong example, and the child, through their own internal state of being and whatever, will make choices based on an example that they see. If a girl is like super kingy, I don't think I'd be able to handle that. Yeah, fair. Spend much time as you want on games. Games are healthy, just be responsible. Exactly. Exactly. That's all. Oh, speaking of being responsible, I do think I should get going, all things considered. Jack, you will be missed. But when I get back, I'll be playing Neo 3. And I think what I'll do for Neo 3 is main ninja style. And not style shift, as weird as that's going to be. I want to get into that uncomfortable area of, like, yeah, of just maining that. Because I think there's going to be a lot I can learn from fights if I just force myself to do ninja style. I experienced that with Ninu yesterday when we were fighting Minamoto no Yoritomo, and I had to think outside the box when it came to playing ninja style, because I was so used to playing things in samurai style. So I think by learning how I could deal with everything with ninja style and everything with samurai style, I think the synergy between the two of them will be awesome. So that's what I'm going to be working towards, just ninja style. Right, my ninja style is ass too. And I could even try to play, and since I'll be sticking to ninja style, for example, then I will just, I could specialize in ninja style based things entirely. So, it, you know, it could be unique in that regards and make me think outside the box. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, for being here as always. It's always nice to have some discussions that are a bit more on the meaningful side, like this. It's kind of overlap with my work and whatnot. So yeah, you guys kind of get an insight of how I help clients and whatnot. But I will see everybody later. Take care. Sleep well if you're in Europe, for example. But otherwise, I will see everyone next time. Take care, and bye!